Jordon Hudson. Let's start. Well, we should call her Pretty Woman.
I got a nickname. I got a moniker for her.
Oh, go ahead.
And it's perfect because this is taking place at UNC. Air Jordan. Ugh, it's terrible. Yeah, I said it. Air Jordan.
Air Jordan, that's not bad. Yeah, that's not bad. But anyway, Colin Cowherd is come up with a defense. Everybody is criticizing Air Jordan or Pretty Woman here, and they're all taking a dump on her about the CBS interview. Cowherd, living up to his name or living up to his philosophy, he'd rather be interesting than boring, and so he's certainly interesting here. Let's listen to him defend Jordon Hudson.
She's his PR director. She's Bill's influencer, which he didn't need in the NFL, but you actually do in college. I thought this was kind of a cringy thing, but she is multiple things for Bill. Assistant, girlfriend, social media producer, PR handler. She fills a lot of roles. And people are kind of uncomfortable with it. And, I mean, sometimes in life you don't have to wear a headset to call plays. She's calling plays for Bill, which he didn't need in the NFL, but he actually does in college football, where players now select you. So she's out there as his PR and social influencer saying, Bill, that doesn't play. Don't talk about that. Do talk about this. Now, if she starts to break down offense on the whiteboard next week, I'll step in and change my opinion. But as I watched this interview, I thought, I've watched interviews like this. CEOs have people like Jordon Hudson. Presidents, politicians, senators, governors, media execs. They all have people like Jordon Hudson. She's taken the role seriously. I mean, I thought it was weird. I didn't know what to make of it. But when I watched that interview, I'm like, I've seen that before from PR directors.
I've seen it too. And Monica Lewinsky was not a PR director. She was an intern. So I've seen it. She was an intern, not a PR director. But, Colin left out a description here of her. One of her titles is concubine, I believe. And so he left that out as well. Look, this is interesting, Colin, but maybe you should have chosen boring here. Your thoughts, Steve?
Oh, I thought you were going to use the term creative muse, whatever that means. Yeah, this may be his worst take since Party of Joy. When I see the Party of Joy. Oh, okay, couple things. I like the Bill Belichick that was just Bill Belichick, and his right-hand man was Ernie Adams. But that's the thing. Colin always talks about being quote-unquote quarterbackial. That is actually his term, and a lot of people use it to his credit. And it's about how does a quarterback act as the face of a franchise. You have to hit certain benchmarks. You can't do certain things. Stay away from certain places. Go home at a certain time. Be better if you were married, right? Don't have too many indiscretions. You're telling me the same does not apply to a head football coach in college? I'm going to be honest with you. If she was just in the background and we never really saw her, I don't think most people would even care about this anymore. In fact, Jason, I believe that Jordon would just be a story that we forgot about like every other story 15 minutes later. The issue becomes, or is becoming, that she is becoming more and more of an influence. And it just looks kind of strange. It does. And I'm not judging anything. I remember the last partner that Bill Belichick had. She was an older woman, pretty nice looking, but it fit. It wasn't his original wife. He got a divorce. But this lady looked like she belonged with the Bill Belichick. They looked like a very nice couple. I thought that lady, the few times that I saw her, that she came off very, very well. Again, it was head coachio. That term doesn't work as much. Colin, you can work at that. That'll be your thing. But I have a theory on Bill Belichick based on someone that I know that actually went to the high school that he did, Andover Prep. the boxing manager that actually knew Gary Gittleson, and he told me a lot about him. Okay, and Bill Belichick from a very early age, and his best friend was Ernie Adams, his football advisor for years at New England. And my friend told me literally every day at lunch, you know what those two were doing? They were drawing up football plays. Football was their life 365 days a year, even back then. And I think he missed out on a lot of the fun that you had at Ball State, that a lot of people have throughout their 20s, 30s, and even 40s. So in many respects, there was an arrested development as he was this wonder kid, whiz kid, grew up. Ted Marchibroda gave him his first job. Then everyone knew him as the coordinator with Lawrence Taylor and Bill Parcells. So football consumed him. So all the keg parties that he missed out on that we got to do as regular human beings, I think he's going through this right now. So I don't know if this is his version of a midlife crisis, but yeah, this is his version of getting a Corvette or a sports car when he already has 3 kids.
I wish I could my mother has a saying about something: if you don't do it in time, you'll do it
Eventually.
out of state. I can't, yeah, but her whole narrative is like, hey, if you don't do things when you're supposed to, you'll end up trying to do them later and make a fool of yourself.
Right.
And maybe that is accurate here as it relates to Bill Belichick. I just still find it unbelievable. And I'm not pivoting. I haven't moved.
Yeah.
From the moment this thing went public, I was like, hey, man, this is a problem. And then once he's ended up at UNC, I'm like, hey, I'm starting to think this UNC thing's going to be a disaster. And I stand on that.
Yeah.
I just don't see how this works at UNC.
Jason, I'm sure that there have been a lot of PR people or people in that role that are very attractive, and maybe an older man starts to fall for them, and that they become more than just that role, and that dynamic changes, right? Even in Succession, Logan Roy ended up having a younger girl that he tried to elevate right into the news thing. And I'm sure there's a lot of situations like that. Here's the difference, and we got to put some context on this. Air Jordan supposedly met Bill Belichick on an airplane flight. I guess they were both in business class, and they hit it off. So again, this is not the regular PR client relationship. She was first, I guess, a side piece or a jump off, as the kids say. Then they developed a relationship. Okay.
Sugar baby.
Sugar baby. But most of the time, these relationships happen the opposite direction. They get hired to be the PR person or the right-hand woman, and then they start having feelings for one another. It's not generally, hey, I'm shacking up with you, but you know what? You want to be my administrative assistant? It doesn't work that way, Jake. That's where I think Cowherd is completely wrong on this one.
Yeah, this is full-blown GFE, and I won't explain
Rumors
it.
on that too.
We'll just
Rumors on that. You know,
we'll just
saying.
we'll
I'm
just
not judging.
leave it at
I'm
that.
not judging. Just saying.
Yeah.
Not judging.